Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a remake of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be continuing our playthrough of Persona 3 Reload, covering the month of May, specifically up until the full moon on June 8th. But before we get into all of that, how was y'all's week?
Do y'all want to guess how much time I have on my game clock for Persona 3 Reload?
Is it over 100 hours?
It's 85 hours and 39 minutes, which, considering we started 2 weeks ago, I'd say is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Big shit!
I have 2 weeks of game time left.
Yeah.
God. So we're going to be talking about stuff, and you're going to be like, this is stuff you played ages ago.
I didn't exactly forget, but I failed to consider the hugeness of the way I play Persona. Which I should know by now because I played Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal and of course Persona 3 Fest. So I should know what this does to me at this point. But
yeah. So once you finish Reload, you should start original Persona, and then when you finish that one, go to Portable, and then when you finish that one, go to Fest, and then go to Reload again, and we'll finish Reload at the same time as you.
I actually thought it might be fun to start a New Game Plus run and lap y'all.
That'd be hilarious of you to do. That's flexing on a wild degree.
Flexing that I haven't been doing anything else with my free time.
Yeah.
My week has been a little bit boring, aside from the constant stream of horrifying real-life news that makes me existentially dread every waking moment. But today specifically has been a bit eventful. First of all, there is a D&D game I have been in since late 2020, and it is supposed to be a bi-weekly game, but it is frequently far less than bi-weekly. We had a session today, and we had a session despite one person, our current guest player, not being able to make it. And it was our first session we've had in 2 months and 1 week, which honestly, compared to some of the gaps we've had, isn't that bad. We once had an over 7-month gap, I believe. My sister, who's running this game, is truly just like, she just wants this game to end. Especially because when she started it, it was the first game she ever ran of any TTRPG that wasn't based on a module. That's just purely her creative, just making stuff. I love the characters and I love the game, but also I would like for it to end, and I'm glad we made some progress on wrapping things up. And then my wife, actually before that technically, my wife is on vacation now. She by on vacation, I mean she's going to see someone in Canada, and she left today for that. So I don't have a wife at home right now, and I'm sad. And then I been taking that cute person who I recently started dating, who was visiting a little bit ago. We finished Gideon to the Ninth today, the audiobook together, and I cried a bunch. And I think they cried at least a little bit, but it's hard to tell. It's the internet. We started Harrow the Ninth immediately instead of our planned. We were gonna take a break and listen to some Big Finish Doctor Who between those, but the ending of Gideon the Ninth basically made them be like, no, we have to start. I was like, okay, I guess we're just gonna jump into Harrow now.
Yeah, the ending is definitely one of those. What do you mean? There's 2 more books? What the fuck? Okay, I guess here we go. I guess I have to find that out now.
Yeah, without spoiling anything for people who haven't read Gideon the Ninth, I will say this cutie in particular did guess the real killer's identity, kind of, and they guessed it super early in the book. And I just had to sit there going, that's an interesting theory you have. For most of the book.
I was distracted because that person shares the name with the protagonist of a book series that I really, really like. And so the whole time I was just geeking out, having adventures with my friend who now is very, very different and in space and a lesbian, but still it's the same difference. It's fine. And then was not the same person at the end because they were
Yeah.
together.
Funnily enough, that character also same name as the D&D character I was playing today in that game. That is
Wild.
pronounced differently, but I'm an English nerd. I grabbed it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what about you, Sam?
So this week we're all eating dinner and we had a like farmhouse style meal for the night where we just had the stuff in the middle and putting on our plates. But now that Andy lives with us, 5 people plus farmhouse style, our table's not big enough. So I was on Craigslist looking for tables and there was like a perfect one that I asked if it was still available and they didn't get back to me, so it's probably not. But then right under it somebody had my childhood TV, my CRT that I had in my bedroom, and they were giving that away for free. So of course I went and I picked it up because it's an improvement on my old one.
And about as heavy as a table, I assume, since it's a CRT.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the weirdest, coolest thing about it is it looks like it has 3 line ins, but it actually has 2 line ins and a line out. So I don't need any fancy splitting technology. I can just run the line out from my TV into my capture card. So I can stream off my CRT if I wanted to. I could be a speedrunner,
Cool.
which is
That's awesome.
pretty cool. I don't know if I'll ever do that except for like on our New Year's Day streams. It's basically the only time I stream. I say having streamed 12 hours today, but I don't use it often, but it's really cool just knowing that like, hey, I could press this button right here and my CRT would be on my computer, and that's cool.
Neat.
That's really cool. For the first like 10 years of my adult life, I was lugging around from apartment to apartment a CRT that was somewhere between 40 inches to 50 inches. I never got an exact measurement. It was horribly heavy, and it had no easy handholds. The whole bottom was hard plastic, and like that, no matter where you grabbed it, it would dig into your hands painfully. I once, because I moved from one apartment to another apartment in the same complex, I moved it by putting it on a computer chair and rolling it through the parking lot.
Or 40 to 50, you say?
Something like that. It was true. It weighed.
That's like 4 feet, dude.
Wait, 40. Listen, I know. I am saying this thing weighed 300 to 400 pounds. It was fucking insane. It was also the loudest TV I've ever heard in my life. We never turned it up past like 20 out of a possible 100 because at like 20 to 25-ish, it was so loud that neighbors would start actively complaining. And I was always just horrified looking at how much extra space there was when you messed with the volume, going, what is the rest of that for? Could it truly get that much louder?
The answer is usually no.
Probably. But the like potential is fun and scary.
Yes.
But I'm glad you got
Remember when
CRT. That sounds
TVs
dope.
had good audio built in?
Mhm.
That lifetime ago.
Yeah. The other thing that happened this week is after like probably the 15th time I've tried to convince my daughter who loves Pretty Cure and my son who likes robots that both of them should watch Power Rangers with me because it's just a magical girl show where they all drive giant robots.
That's
Like
accurate.
that's all. They would love it. We finally watched Power Rangers movie and they paid attention and liked it the whole time instead of just giving up and walking away in the first 10 minutes. And that was fantastic. And it was such a joy watching Storm's mind get blown when these 6 giant robots can become one even more giant robot. And so then because I can't just pick a show and watch it and enjoy it and that just be how I spend my time. I have to do giant stupid projects. I started watching Power Rangers again from the beginning, and there's only like, I don't know, 30 English seasons and 70 Japanese seasons. No big deal.
No big deal.
But my PS3 is my currently my only Wi-Fi capable device that plugs into the CRT, and so I was streaming from Plex on there, but because the Wi-Fi here frickin' sucks, or because the PS3 is super old, but I'm going to blame the Wi-Fi here because it's given me so much shit since I moved here. Um, it buffers really, really bad. So I get to watch like the first couple of minutes of a Power Rangers episode, and then it's like buffering every couple of seconds, and then it buffers so long that it tricks the PS3 into thinking that the video's over, so it skips and goes to the next episode, and made me so mad. I finally had this nice CRT and something that's CRT available to watch it on, and it didn't work, and it made me so mad, and I
Oh.
hate it. But
As a filthy Power Rangers casual who mostly is a fan of the comic books, I've been really curious to check out one of the more recent seasons because it's me. It's because I know there's lesbians in it.
yeah, I I started like wanting to rewatch it after Wheel of Time came out because Nynaeve is the White Ranger in one of the seasons, and she's fantastic. So I want to go back and watch her season because she's fantastic. But I can't just go watch that season. I have to catch back up from my childhood.
Oh wow, they're still making Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Kind of from of last I heard, it's kind of in a weird state now where they don't know if they're going to do another season at this point. Like the last season was kind of a finale, but then again, Power Rangers has had kind of finales like 5 different times at this point, so it's probably going to continue. But
Last I had saw, Netflix had announced the next
they had
season.
okay.
Yeah,
I heard that, but then I heard that they also backed off on that. But
yeah. I don't know. I'm not super into it. Uh, Lashib is probably listening, screaming at me right now because he's very into Power Rangers.
I don't know shit about Power Rangers except I watched it when I was very little and don't remember anything about it. But did y'all see the trailer for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind?
No.
It is a new Power Rangers beat 'em up. It looks fucking sick as hell.
that's a fun idea.
Oh, I think I saw that, but I didn't see the subtitle. I saw that at one of the E3 things.
Yeah, it looks real good. And I was also excited about it because I played the way back in the day, I played the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game on the Super Nintendo and thought it was really great. And then I replayed it as an adult, and it actually is really great.
Hmm.
Yay! That sounds cool that they're doing a game like that. I think it's great when genres like beat 'em ups get like there's more of them because they're not things that get developed a ton. Unfortunately, I am also just someone who does not personally invest into beat 'em ups that much. But as someone who loves platformers, I understand deeply the need for more of an old genre.
And so then the way I finished out my week, the aforementioned 12 hours of streaming today, I have taken off work for the week of GDQ, which is currently active. But I am doing Games Made Quick, which used to be a thing, and they haven't done it in a couple of years, but it's a good name, so I'm stealing it. And I am recreating Dragon Quest 1 in Godot 4 to teach myself how to do things in Godot 4. And all day today, I have made my player controller and my camera and my NPCs and technically sort of a little bit chests and doors, but not really. They're not interactable yet. And it's real cool and real fun. And when you by the end of this next week, I might have a playable for educational purposes only because I stole all of the graphics and the game design and some of the code. um, but I might be able to share what I've done with the class, and that'll be fun and exciting.
That's real neat. That sounds like a
Mhm.
good way to learn the engine.
Yeah, because the worst thing about me is I'm creative, and my taste far exceeds my ability in basically everything I've ever wanted to do, and
I
so
understand that.
I very quickly get ideas and want to build on and iterate those ideas, but I don't even know something as simple as how do I, like, if I'm in the main menu and I click new game, how do I go to the new game? If I go through a door, how do I load the next level? I don't even know like those basic things, and I'm over here being like, oh, like let me go and instead of just following this tutorial and making it this really simple thing to teach me the basics, what if I go and do all of this scope creep shit and I never get far enough into actually learning it? And so recreating Dragon Quest gives me a finished product that has a correct answer that I have to match one for one, except for weird bugs. I'm not putting in weird bugs, and I'm also giving a I'm remaking the NES version, but I'm taking the Super NES version's context sensitive button because
Nice.
it's the future. I don't want to click stairs. No one wants to click stairs. But yeah,
Speaking of stairs,
I'm super excited about it. But yeah, speaking of stairs, let's climb up 42 sets of them.
I never felt like so miserable. I never knew I'm thinking this will last forever. Baby, stay with me. You gotta say no, you have to listen.
it's hilarious to me that all my trips to Tartarus last much longer than an hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not all of mine do, but some of mine do.
According to Akihiko, time flows differently in Tartarus, and so to your body it is 1 hour. To your perception, it is much longer than an hour. But if you're not inside of Tartarus, it's just an extra hour that you get to sleep through, which is kind of a cool way to handle the fact that you don't have a time limit when you go to Tartarus.
Yeah.
Imagine if you did.
I would hate that.
That would be interesting.
Mhm.
Probably not good, but it would
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah, Tartarus, especially because of the music, is just a very chill go explore and hang out time, and is not a ticking clock time bomb thing. It's not the thing. Anyways, speaking of Tartarus, so the day after we explore Tartarus for the first time, the school holds a morning assembly to introduce the new student council president, who is none other than Mitsuru Kirijo. Junpei and Yukari aren't surprised because Mitsuru is hot, popular, and also her dad owns the school.
I think that last one might have an overdue cause to this appointing.
Yes. Mitsuru gives a speech imploring the student body to dig deep and put an effort to better their school together, to be, I don't know, not apathetic about things. Might be a theme to the game or something, who knows. A few weeks later, Akihiko goes to the doctor for a follow-up visit for the shoulder that he hurt on the first full moon, and he asks Junpei to bring him the roster for Class 2E, which we think is weird, so Yukari and Totino's go with Junpei, and then when we get to the hospital, Akihiko has a visitor, his friend Shinji. We don't learn Shinji's name for about 6 weeks, but I know his name, so he's Shinji in my notes.
Also, speaking of names, while editing the last episode, I realized we didn't explain why this guy's name is Totino's DiGiorno. We just start calling him that.
We explained it in Persona 2, so go back to...
Yeah, but I imagine someone starting this game and being like, why did they call this guy Totino's DiGiorno? Which, to be fair, is just because that's what I've been naming my Persona characters, and I think I did the notes for Persona 2, so
yeah, and so
I did that.
I named him his canon name, Makoto Yuki, and so every time in my notes I'll end up writing the word Yuki. I'm like, that's not his name. Backspace Totino's.
I named my girl something and I didn't write it down anywhere, and I'd have to like open up the game right now and look for it. So I'm not going to do that.
For me, it's really weird that his name is Makoto, because to me, Makoto is the girl from Persona 5.
Mm-hmm. It's
see, I hear Makoto and I think of, oh no, I don't remember the name. There's an anime character named Makoto. I don't
I'm
remember.
sure there is. There's a lot.
I was going to say that regarding Shinji here, whose name we do not learn for quite a while in game. I know, again, I'm very unspoiled in this game. I have been made aware that Shinji exists. However, my main way of being aware Shinji exists is people on Tumblr who do fan art with Shinji being a butch woman, which, as far as I'm aware, is not actually the character. It is just
there is absolutely nothing of that in the text.
The vibes, I will just say the sprite, like, if you told me, oh, that's not a dude, that's a butch woman, I'd be like, oh yeah.
I mean, I can see that.
So, Shinji rules. He walks in and uses the first cuss word of the game, and then he leaves.
I wish I got the first cuss word of a game.
Akihiko tells us that Shinji knows a lot of people who have been affected by apathy syndrome, so they just came over to talk about it, and they're lying because they're dating. Akihiko says that he's been cleared to train again, but he's not back up to 100%, so he won't be joining us in Tartarus just yet. But he doesn't explain yet why he wanted the roster for Class 2E. The day before Golden Week, the mysterious boy visits us during the dark hour, and he tells us that there will be a full moon in 1 week, and that will face a great hardship, so we should prepare for it, and he'll come speak to us when it's over. We don't tell anything to our friends. We then just spend the Golden Week prepping for whatever the ordeal is, probably going to Tartarus and doing the entire first stratum. And then throughout the week, our team members all remark on how weird it is that they haven't seen any shadows outside of Tartarus in almost an entire month, and that it's getting too quiet, so we should keep up our guard. And then on May 9th, the day of the full moon, during the dark hour, Mitsuru is scanning for any shadow activity, but her persona isn't very good at scanning when she's outside of Tartarus, so she has to jack into the Batcave to even do it a little bit. But
she has a bunch of scanning equipment built into a motorcycle and stuff, and although she might be using the Batcave at this point.
Yeah, at this one it's a Batcave, but in a second she whips out the fact that she has a Batcave on her motorcycle, because of course she does. But even her piddly ass persona can sense that a huge shadow has appeared at the train station. Because Akihiko is still out of commission, it's up to the 3 noobs to go out and stop it. The shadow is on the monorail train, which is a ways up the track from the station, so we have to walk on the live wire to go out and stop it, which is thankfully turned off because it's the dark hour, and the dark hour disables electricity, but it's still super nerve-wracking to walk on a deadly electrical current and also maybe get hit by a train. Our characters are not very, very thrilled to have to be doing this. When we arrive at the train, we go inside and the door closes behind us, so the only way out is through. Partway through, we find a shadow that, instead of attacking us, runs away from us, and Junpei runs after it. Turns out that was a mistake because the shadows were just trying to separate us. So Totino's and Yukari have to fight a few fights by themselves, but it's not hard. It's the same shadows we've been fighting in Tartarus the whole time. Eventually, we catch up with Junpei, but when we do, the monorail starts speeding down the track. The huge shadow has taken control of the train somehow. So now we have to stop it to stop the train before it smashes into another one. We race to the front car, and the shadow is hot.
I mean, she has the letters B and J on her boobs. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah, because all I want to do is get turned into goo by a giant woman.
A giant woman.
That's what I want to be. So please just step on me, Miss Giant Woman. So the giant naked woman has long paper scrolls for hair, and like Trish said, has the letters B and J for nipples, and her body is split vertically in half with a pure white half and a pure black half. She attacks the party and speeds up the train, so we have 30 minutes to defeat her before we crash into the other train, which seems like a long time. But the giant woman also thinks it's too long, so after a bit of damage in the battle, she speeds it up to 15 minutes, and then after a bit more, she speeds it up to 10 total minutes to beat this fight. But we're awesome, so we take her down with a bunch of time to spare. But the train isn't stopping. So Totino's just says, fuck it, and runs to the front and just pulls on something and lucks out that it's the brake, and they don't crash. Meanwhile, back at the Batcave, Akihiko, Ikutsuki, and Mitsuru are discussing what just happened, as shadows have never done anything like that before. And Mitsuru wonders if it has begun. And Ikutsuki says that it's too early to tell, and we should study their behavior for patterns and clues. The team returns to the dorm, and they get some much-needed rest. The plot for the next month is like very light, as the game has just given us our social links tutorial, and it sets up a good like 80% of them. So I will also set up 80% of them. I won't be going into detail, just covering how they interact with the main plot and how we get introduced to them. And a little bit of them I like, so I'll give a little bit more than not, but this won't be an exhaustive summary of their plot lines because I didn't finish any of them.
I finished one.
Wow.
You finished a social link already?
Yes.
Wow.
I
mean, I'm 2 weeks away from finishing the game, so
I was a good girl, and I stopped when we're supposed to stop.
So on the way to school one day, you run into a boy from your class, Kinji Tomochika.
Oh god.
He constantly brings up his love for older women, like for 3 scenes before your social link even starts, and then in the first 2 social links, he just like, you will just be eating ramen silently, and he's just like, man, I want to bone an old chick. And I'm like, okay, Kinji, whatever. Like, that's kind of out of nowhere. And his whole deal is that he wants to ask his teacher out. And then one time while you're hanging out, he asks if we've ever heard about the Gourmet King, which is a teenage food critic that hangs out in Polonia. And he kind of asks this out of nowhere. It has nothing really to do with his story. He doesn't even ask us, like when we say we haven't heard of him, he doesn't even follow it up with why he wanted to bring it up. All of the other ones like flow into each other, but the way that Kinji brings up the Gourmet King is just like, well, we needed somebody to give you this quest hook, and why not Kinji? So we follow up on Kinji's lead, and we go out to meet the Gourmet King at Polonia. And his whole deal is that we can't hang out with him because we're too cool and hot and awesome and attractive and hot, and it makes him look even worse than normal. He also has some people that are trying to rough him up, but I didn't have the opportunity to dig into why during this month just yet.
I didn't do a single Kenji social link, so I didn't know about any of this.
I want to say about Suimitsu, the Gourmet King.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking sucks. He's terrible.
I hate him.
I will say, at the very end of his social link, there's a little glimmer of good shit.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it is just shit.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of, oh, that's actually really interesting, and this could have been a really good social link if it had been written significantly differently.
Yes. Kinji has none of that. Kinji's is bad stuff.
Oh yeah, Kinji just sucks, and I was about to say something about what happens later, but that's a spoiler.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. So when the game started, none of the clubs were recruiting, but during this month, some spots have opened up, and you can join the track team at the end of April, and so Totino's, of course, does so. While he's there, he meets his fellow athlete Kazushi Miyamoto and the track team manager Yuko Nishiaki.
Love her.
Yuko's the best. I love her so much.
Yeah. I love these two so much.
Me too. So at track practice, Kazushi is struggling to keep up, and we encourage him to go beyond. But one day after track, he collapses and reveals that he hurt his knee, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. He keeps pushing himself, and you get points for telling him to never rest and to please always exert yourself, which is not what I would say, but that's how you get the most points. So it's canon.
you get in this and a couple other social links, you get the most they like you points for saying what they want to hear. And that's just sort of how these things often work in video games. Mm-hmm. And it's not always great that it works that way. But yeah. Things might work out anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
After track practice, we ask Yuko if she wants to walk home with us, And when we do, we stop for some coffee on the way. Yuko is mainly struggling with the looming threat of growing up, and all of her issues that she has bump into that. Like, she wants to focus on being a high schooler and doesn't really have a plan for the future, and the track team treats her like their mom, and she hates it because she doesn't want to be a mom. She wants to be a kid. She wants to focus on just being a high schooler, but time keeps on ticking into the future. A few scenes in, I got farther with Yuko than anyone else because she was my girlfriend in the first game. So of course I wanted to. Anytime the 100% thing was like, oh, go use either of these, I picked Yuko because why not? Um, so a couple scenes in, she meets some kids who are playing around Polonia because they can't play at the playground because the older kids have taken over the playground and say that they won't give it back unless the little kids can beat them in a race. So Yuko steps up to be their coach, and it's adorable, and I love her.
Yeah, I've gotten up to 7, rate 7 with her.
Nice.
And yeah, I really enjoy her story so far. She's very cute. I would date her, except here I think she's great, and her voice actress in this game is really wonderful. I was really tempted to make her my romance for this. However, that mod that I'm doing to play a girl, the script changes are not as thorough as I might wish. In one of the early Social Link things, there's a bit where she's runs into some girls from school who, in the normal game, would insinuate that the main character is her boyfriend. In my modded game, they talked about, oh, was that your girlfriend? I was like, oh, that's neat. And then later, that sort of thing comes up again, but it switches back to boyfriend. As far as I can tell, it only covered early ones, and the script is unchanged from that point. And I was like, I don't want to do a romance if the script is just going to keep misgendering my character like that. So sorry, Yuko.
Yeah. She's great, and I love her.
She's wonderful.
At one point, when she's coaching the kids, she has a line where she says, "Think positive. If you think you're going to lose, you will. Don't be afraid of them just because they're sixth graders." And I think that's all good life advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think positive. If you think you'll lose, you will. Don't be afraid of them because they're sixth graders.
Perfect.
As you all know, sixth graders are terrifying.
Yes.
In the early part of May, there's a bookstore in Iwatodai Strip Mall that has a grand reopening. And so when Totino's heads inside, the owners are a cute old couple.
I love them.
I love them so much.
The old man, Bunkichi, is getting senile, and the old woman, Mitsuko, is kind of running the show and keeping Bunkichi in check. And one time when we visit, Bunkichi keeps asking where his son is because he was supposed to work today. But Mitsuko informs us that their son passed away in a car accident a few years ago. But because Bunkichi is starting to get dementia, he keeps forgetting that fact and having to realize that his son is dead basically once a day, which is heartbreaking.
It is. I don't want to delve too deep into this, but my family, especially on my father's side, has a long history of dementia and other memory loss sort of things later in life. Which has always been a big fear, both for me and also for my father. Now that my father has a very aggressive form of brain cancer, he isn't having that necessarily as much, but he's having other mental faculty issues. Mm-hmm. So this all hit really deep and close to home, and I love these two. This is the Social Link I've already finished. I've done the entirety of the Hierophant one. It's really good. And good. I love them dearly, and I really appreciate that it is a Social Link storyline that, like, you are definitely having an effect on their lives. Like, it is nice to be this person who's coming frequently to their store and socializing with them, but at the same time, the story's not about you, and it didn't go the way I was expecting at all in a way that I think was really poignant and sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Social Link is one of the fair number of times in the game that I've cried.
Yeah,
I can understand. I didn't quite cry, but I got misty-eyed.
Yeah, my mom died of dementia in July, and I have lost a son. So, this one has always been my favorite because it is hitting very, very close to home in multiple angles. So I love them so much.
Yeah.
One day while hanging out with him, Bunkichi can't find his wallet, And so while we're helping him find it, some fucking freak ass French weeb comes in.
Don't talk bad about Baby like that. I love him.
I love him so much, but is any of this a lie that he is a fucking freak ass French weeb?
He is a French weeb.
But
Sell me on this man. Why should I do social links with him? I haven't done a single one yet.
He's
he's fantastic.
such a sweetheart.
He's such a sweetheart.
Okay.
He's one of the best social links. You should
Okay.
absolutely do him. He's
And-
he's a weeb and it's hilarious. Like it is done so well. Like his weebness, where it is so endearing hearing him like mess up being
And-
Japanese.
And
It's
also,
so good.
it's very much like he's not I like Japan because I like anime girls and stuff.
Mhm.
He has a deep interest in learning about another culture and stuff.
Mhm.
And
That's wonderful.
he is just such a sweetheart. And I have some thoughts about the great way his social link ends, but
Mhm.
we're not
there
getting
yet.
there today.
Yeah. So Bebe introduces himself as Andre Laurent Jean Giraud, but says we can call him Bebe because
Because
all
we
of
probably can't pronounce that.
yeah, a lot of those words are not in the Japanese set of phonemes, so Bebe works. He's the French foreign exchange student at GeckoCon, and he spends his days in the home ec room. Says that we can come hang out if we want to. When we go there to meet him, he says that he doesn't have any Tomodachi friends, and it's very sabashi, lonely. And so he asks us if we can join the fashion club, which we do. I was one of the last ones that I unlocked this in this month, so I didn't get very far into it to give more. But I love him so much. The localization choices they chose for Bebe are fantastic. The fact that like everyone's speaking Japanese, so why is the one person who can't speak Japanese the one that speaks Japanese? But it's perfect. Like
it's that's perfect.
I'm wondering if
so
it's
good.
I'm wondering if it's like in the original, maybe he was, speaking Japanese, but would use a word that's just a little off, like
Mhm.
not wrong, but also not the word a native speaker would have chosen.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's it. I don't know. I'm interested in, maybe I could see if I could find something about how he's written in Japanese, but yeah, I love him. And also, one scene about midway through his social link is another time I cried.
Mhm.
Oh,
Love Bebe
I'm
so much.
intrigued.
He's so good.
If you can't tell, I didn't go wide as Sam did. I went deep with a couple of them.
Mhm.
There's just one left that I went very deep into that we haven't gotten to yet. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited. You're making me want to go through Bebe's.
yeah, you definitely should. One day in late April, Mitsuru meets us after school and asks us to join the student council so that she can have an ally for when things get busy.
And so that we can meet this motherfucker.
Yeah.
This cop.
So we agree and go with her to meet Chihiro, the treasurer, and
Oh, her
Odagiri,
too.
the secretary. Odagiri is a narc, and I hate him. His
Same.
social link is about finding out who was smoking in the bathroom, and he not only, I don't know, gives a shit, but also like terrorizes the entire school, accusing everybody he can think of accusing them of doing it, like including cornering a couple girls and being like, well, just because it was in the boys' bathroom doesn't mean a girl couldn't have done it, so I know it was you. He's an asshole and I hate him. And we get points for saying you're doing a good job. I'm glad you're like this, and I hate it.
This is another one where you get points for encouraging the non-ideal behavior a little bit, but I do sort of like where his social link goes. He does end up growing and becoming a better person, which is nice to see. Also, early on in the social link, a guy tells him to fuck off and punches him in the face, and that's fun.
Yeah, and in the remake, they gave him a new talking head with like a fist mark on his face, which
his like cheek is all swollen and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
The artists probably were like, yeah, this feels great. I'm drawn this. So yeah, Odagiri sucks, but Chihiro, love her. So
she's fun so far.
After student council, we ask Chihiro to walk home with us, and she says no, like 4 times. She has a fear of men, and so talking to us is really, really hard. But eventually, she overcomes her phobia and joins us on the way home. The only problem is she lives in the opposite direction of our dorm, but she was too scared to speak up and say as much. So after she walks us home, she heads off
That's
in
so
the other direction.
adorable.
She's nervous around men because her dad has really bad anger issues, and so every time she sees a man, she remembers her dad's anger and like shrinks, and so that's why she has the phobia of men. But she's an avid manga reader, and so she and Totino's bond over manga, and she starts to open up more to Totino.
Aww. I need
I
to do
don't-
more of that one.
I don't love Chihiro so much at first, but I like how her social link ends a lot.
Okay.
And so now for my favorite social link.
Oh,
So so one evening, Mitsuru tells us that the internet in the dorm has been fixed after the shadows took it out. So we can go use our laptop in our room again. And Junpei is like, hell yeah, gamers, where we dropping, lads? And gives us a copy of Innocent Sin Online, an MMO that he used to love, but he got burned out on, and he thinks that we'd like it. So when Showa Day comes along and we don't have any school, we spend the whole day playing on the computer, where we meet Elite Haxor, who has the handle Maya, and tells us to name our character Tatsuya. And she says if we see any jokers, we should be sure to rescue her. And this social link was already my favorite, and it's even better now that I've played that game.
Same. I was like, I'm so glad that I played that game. Also, hey, do you guys want to guess what's the third one I got really deep into? I'm seven deep into the Maya one. I love her so much.
She is so fucking funny. It's so great.
She's so good. So as the link progresses, we learn that Maya is getting a big case of burnout in regards to her job, despite the fact that it's a dream job that she's always wanted since childhood. But every time she's not working, she gets drunk and plays Innocent Sin Online. She mentions running into that asshole from TV at Polonium at night, and so we can go there and see that it's the man from the shopping network who is scoping attractive, charming folk like ourselves to help him out with something.
I also really love Tanika's social link. It's hilarious.
I was so instantly repulsed by him. I was so instantly repulsed that I didn't want to spend time with him.
Yeah,
he is so cartoonishly evil. It is hilarious.
I can imagine that playing with the lesbian mod makes it even worse, where he's like, hey,
100%.
You're so attractive. You should pay me money and then come with me, and then we'll have a talk in this dark alley about how attractive you are and how that's really cool.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Sam, I have a question. Just in terms of formatting for the episode. Should I unveil my deep secret here, or should I wait until MedMoms? Because it is social link related.
I'll probably wait until MedMoms.
Okay, I'll do it then.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I mentioned, to even get the flag to start the TV Guy's social link, you have to have a high enough charm stat, and then you pay him a lot of cash money as a finder's fee, and that doesn't even unlock the social link. That just unlocks the flag that the next time you talk to him, you can start the social link.
Yeah, you have to give him. He's like, oh, hey, I've got an investment for you. Give me 20,000 yen, and I'll get you so much money. And so you give him 20,000 yen. Then you go and talk to him again, and he's like, we run into a bit of a snag. I'll just need 10,000 more yen. So you give him 10,000 more yen. Then you go talk to him again, and he's like, gonna need 10,000 more yen. So you give him 10,000 more yen.
That's so much money to throw into the hole. No.
And then eventually you do start the social link. And here's the kicker: you don't get the money back.
Nope.
Of course you don't.
Oh,
you're not selling me on this.
Yeah, I didn't actually start his social link yet because I'm still having to give him money.
Yeah, and this early in the game, 40,000 yen is a lot of money.
Yeah, I will get to it in MinMoms, but I accidentally have almost infinity money for a very stupid reason. But we'll get there when we get there.
Interesting.
So at school one day, you hear gossip about these girls are talking about how it's so sad that there's this girl that's always playing by herself at the shrine all the time. And so when you go to check it out, you meet Maiko, a sweet little girl who just wants somebody to play with her. So you oblige and you build sandcastles with her, climb the jungle gym, be a good friend for her. But when it's time to leave, she says that she hates it at home because all her parents do is fight, and they recently told Maiko that they were getting a divorce. And it's sad.
It
Uh,
is.
It's
and-
very sad.
And one day while you're hanging out, she introduces you to Stripey, her friend who hangs out
Speaking
at
of
the shrine.
sad,
Hangs. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we don't actually get to start a social link for a very long time, but
Yeah, no.
still. Speaking of sad,
Speaking of sad, yeah, Stripey is a obviously terminally ill man who is somehow hiding that fact from Maiko. But yeah,
picture a terminally ill man. You've probably gotten pretty close to his character design.
yeah, but yeah, we can't unlock his social link just yet, but it'll happen soon.
I've been told that it has been made clear to me through the interwebs that I should be doing his social link because it's like thematically very important and stuff. So I'm going to be. I'm bracing myself with the sad.
Yeah.
He ends up being available on Sundays only. So you end up, by the time he's available, you've probably almost completed Maya's social link, since she's also available on Sundays. So you pretty much just switch from the extremely silly fun times of Maya to this guy.
This guy.
I have to say goodbye. I can't believe I'm close to having to say goodbye to Lamaonade.
Oh, love her.
I love her so much.
So if we were playing Persona 3 the original, this would be the end of the social link section, but we're not. We're playing Persona 3 Reload, the remake of Persona 3. So in this remake, we get to date the boys. We can take our male party members out on linked episodes, which is a synonym for social links, just has to be called something different because Igor says social link.
It's so weird that they're not social links.
Like they could have just
weird.
come up with new arcana to.
But then they also would have had to like recategorize a whole bunch of personas, and it would have been a whole thing. And also, you don't have like 10 episodes for each of them.
Yeah.
If you did, it would be crazy. I think you have 5 episodes for each of the boys.
I think so. But yeah, it's cool though. So one day after the full moon, Junpei texts us and says that it's weird that we've never hung out before. So now that we have some breathing room after the events of the full moon, we should hang out. We head to the arcade to talk about how much we can learn from anime and fighting games to use to fight the shadows. And towards the end, Junpei reveals that for the first time in a long time, he feels like his life has meaning. Because of his newfound power and mission, he feels like he has a purpose. So he's not going to settle for second best, baby. He's going to put his love to the test and make you express how you feel. Because, baby, then you'll know the love is real. And he's going to try and be leader one day. And I love him.
That's what your DiGiorno Totinos did. I left him hanging for like a full week or 2 weeks, which causes him to send you messages asking him why you're leaving him hanging, and it full of really sad heartbreak emojis, which truly just made me want to keep ignoring him more. But Bernard told me to, and I decided. Actually, no, it wasn't Bernard. It was other people on the server. Were like, no, you should give him a chance. And I was like, okay.
I mean, one
And
thing
it was
about
a good scene. It was a good scene.
And one thing about the link episodes is they're not like most social links where you just sort of do them and they're kind of disconnected from the main story. They unlock as you go through the story, and late in the game there's some like a bunch of really good ones that are like really tied into the events, and you get to see how characters are feeling about things, but you have to unlock them by doing the earlier ones where they're just sort of fucking around.
Yeah.
Well, they're just sort of fucking around, yeah.
In this first month, we also get to take Akihiko on a date. He invites us out to dinner one night where he's hounded like a celebrity by all of the girls from school that have a crush on him. And so we bail to get out of there to get away from them. But on our way back from dinner, we see that those same girls are being accosted by some perverts in an alleyway. And Akihiko steps in. The bullies are like, hey, man, mind your own business or we'll fight you. And Akihiko's like, okay. before before he punches their throne, the cops come in and break it up.
I find it hilarious that all the girls at school have so much. Everyone has a crush on Akihiko because it's clearly just because like they've seen him boxing and he's so cool and hot and everything. But
Mhm.
it's so clear that they have not actually talked to him because he has
Yeah.
no riz.
Yeah, not any at all.
He has none. Honestly, though, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot
Oh,
more
yeah.
than Junpei.
I
Yeah.
like him, but it's just so funny to me that he's so popular with the ladies. And I think it's very clearly like, yeah, they're admiring him from afar. They're not actually.
Yeah, no,
talking to him.
definitely.
No. And so the last social link that we can do was technically available in the first remake in Persona 3 FES, but I didn't do it on that one, so it's new to me. One day after school, Totino's finds a door to the Velvet Room in Polonia Mall, and Elizabeth is standing outside of it rather than inside of it. When she's standing outside, she can offer quests, things like summon a Jack Frost that knows Koha or whatever. Like just weirdly specific things. Like none of it is just like go kill 3 things and bring it back to me. It's all like involved in a way, which is better than a lot of
I mean, some of them are basically just get to this section of Tartarus, but
yeah,
a lot of them are
most
weirdly
of them,
involved.
And the weirdly involved ones, she will tell you after you do them, like why she asked you to, and it never makes much sense, but it's fun.
Yes, I love her. She is so
She's
weird.
great.
She's so good. And so when you complete your first like 15 or 20 quests, she asks you to take her on dates. And the first one, she wants to investigate the wishing fountain at Polonia.
It's so funny.
Where, among other things, she tosses in 1 million yen, but then forgets to make a wish. And she's like, well, I guess I'll just have to try again later. And
she says of the fountain, it makes sport of water a precious resource and the very foundation of life, such a sinful form of art.
I love her so much.
She's so good. But yeah, that's all the social links that we can unlock at this point.
Time for ghost stories.
Yeah. So after the events of the full moon at the end of at the beginning of May, the cases of apathy syndrome have been steadily dropping. So defeating the huge shadow is definitely helping. So we don't really know what exactly to do, but we know to just keep doing what we're doing because it's helping at least. All of our characters are thankful for the break because midterms are soon, and they get some time to focus on their studies without having to go to Tartarus every night. After the midterms, which I got first in my class on because I'm following a guide that tells me all the things to do to get high enough academics to get first in my class. Akihiko is feeling better and can now join us when we go to Tartarus. But he tells us that he and Mitsuru agree that Totino should stay the leader because he's the main character of the game.
Yeah.
They also tell us that Fuka Yamagishi, a girl in Class 2E, is also a Persona user. She was at the hospital at the same time as Akihiko, and that's how he realized, like, oh, hey, you're awake. Nobody else is. Cool, this is important. We should keep in touch. They're excited to get her to join the team, but she's always sick and she's very frail, so she won't be able to fight. And it's not like there's a position on the team that sits back at the base and doesn't fight.
No.
So there's no way she could join the team. A week or so goes by with Akihiko and Mitsuru courting Fuka to see if she can join the team when Yukari notices some girls talking out in the corridor, bragging about how they've been picking on Fuka. When one of them says that she hears a voice, stares off into the distance, and then snaps out of it like she had a miniature bout of apathy syndrome. A few days later, a girl from 2E goes missing at night, and the next day, she's found unconscious in front of the school. Rumors are flying about it, and the students think that it has something to do with ghosts. Yukari is like, how immature. There's obviously no such thing as ghosts, as we enter a hidden dimension filled with literal demons every night at midnight.
They're not demons, they're shadows.
Yeah.
Sure. The story goes that people who head to the school at night get fed on by ghosts, and the ghosts just leave them in front of the school the next day, drained of their ectoplasm or whatever. Akihiko and Mitsuru both think that the ghost part is Bupkis, but it's probably related to Tartarus because, I mean, It's at the school at night, and that's what the school is at night, is Tartarus. We agree to look into it over the next week, and that night, the mysterious boy comes back to our room to tell us that another ordeal will be sent our way in a week. Yukari asks everyone to investigate the rumors so that we can compare our notes at the end of the week. We ask around Gekukan and find out that there are 3 total victims, and the 3 girls aren't in the same grade or class or clubs, but they're all friends who hang out together all the time, and they hang out at the shady spot behind Port Island Station. So Yukari says that we should go and investigate the shady spot and brings Totino's and Stupe with her. When we get there are some punks who bow up to us, and Yukari bows back, which gets Junpei's ass kicked. But before the punks can continue to kick Junpei's ass, Shinji shows up. Shinji says that, we're just dumb kids and ignore us. They're leaving now, but the punks don't want to listen, so Shinji then kicks their ass. The punks run off, and Shinji asks us if Akihiko told us to come, and we say no. He says we'll just head home, but Yukari is like, wait, about the victims, do you know 3 girls that have been hanging out here? And he says that they hang out here all the time, bragging about all the shit that they do to Fuka. Which is why that people are saying that it's Fuka's ghost that's attacking people. Wait, Fuka's ghost? Shinji says that Fuka hasn't been home in over a week, so people are thinking that she probably is dead. But he doesn't know much else than that, so we should leave and never come back. But we will come back for 1 billion story scenes in this game.
And also
fun
defeat
to
a
know.
cat.
Yes.
What? Oh.
The next school day, we're called into the faculty office where Mitsuru wants to ask Mr. Ikoda about Fuka, but there's a girl in the office already. Her name is Natsuki Moriyama, who is the last remaining one of Fuka's bullies. The other 3 girls were the other 3 victims. Natsuki recoils at the mention of Fuka and comes clean that 9 days ago, they were picking on Fuka and trapped her in the gym and left her there overnight. After they had their laugh, one of the girls went back to get Fuka out so that she wouldn't commit suicide, but then she didn't come home and was found outside of the school. Natsuki went to the gym to check on Fuka, but the door was still locked and Fuka was not inside. So they kept coming back day after day to try and find her, but every night one of them ended up unconscious, left in front of the school. Mitsuru then lays into Ikoda. He had announced that Fuka was just sick and taking some time off of school, but he knew that she was missing the whole time. He has some stupid defense, but Mitsuru doesn't give a shit. She puts him in his place and takes over the case. She's like, I can't trust you to do anything anymore. I'll talk to my father about this.
In anime, there's sometimes a thing where the student council president is the one actually running the show at the school and the teachers don't have any real power, but Mitsuru is a lot more competent than any teacher at the school.
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Mitsuru asks Natsuki if there was anything weird about her friends that happened before they disappeared, and she says that each girl said that they heard a creepy voice calling their name. Mitsuru says that they've been wondering how people stayed outside of coffins during the dark hour, and this creepy voice must be part of it. It also means that if that's true, this is a targeted attack on humans and not just some random natural phenomenon. Like the shadows are choosing, hey, we're going to eat you in particular tonight. Come over here so we can eat you. Mitsuru says that tonight we're going to have to infiltrate the school to try and rescue Fuka. Junpei is like, she's been gone for 10 days. Do you really think that she's still alive? And Akihiko posits that since Tartarus is only around for an hour each night, it's possible that for her, she's only been gone for about 10 hours, which is a lot, but it's a lot less than 10 days. But we've been all over Tartarus in the last 10 days and didn't see her at all. So the plan is to enter Tartarus the same way that she did, by waiting in the gym until the dark hour. We don't know what will happen to us, but Akihiko won't let us not try. So we call Ikutsuki to get a key to the school, but he's not available, so we don't have a way in. That is, except we have Stupe, Ace Defective, on our side, and he unlocked the back door before leaving school today.
Which he keeps calling a bomb?
Yes.
And
I think Mitsuru is like, oh, an explosive? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, which I love her.
And it's hilarious because here in a second when we go to the school, she's like, and no snooping around to get the answers to your tests. And it's like, you were okay with the bomb, but you're not okay with cheating on my math test. All right, Mitsuru, whatever.
Listen, cheating on the math test won't help us save Fuka.
It's true. So we head to the school and we snoop around until we find the gym key. Yukari, turns out, wasn't there's no such thing as ghosts, that's stupid, because she doesn't think that they're real, but because she absolutely thinks that they're real and she's too freaked out to think about it. After we get the key, we break out into teams. Boy team is going to hide in the gym, and girl team is going to wait outside and provide support as usual. But when the dark hour hits, boy team doesn't get back in touch with girl team because something has gone wrong. Mitsuru is straining her persona as far as she can, but she can't find anyone. And then faintly, she hears Akihiko contact her, and he says that they've all been separated. Totino's wakes up in the weird, creepy, looks like an eater from Digimon Cyber Sleuth, but with like giant faces on the walls. Second stratum of Tartarus. I love the design in the remake. It's so good.
It's so good.
Every section of Tartarus is so cool. There's one that I don't like, just the way the floors are laid out, because it's annoying and I keep running into stuff. But they all look so cool.
When Totino's wakes up, the mysterious boy is there. He says that tonight there's more than one ordeal to face, and that she is waiting for us, and we will need her. He disappears, and so off Totino's goes to explore Tartarus to find his friends. While climbing, he hears a mysterious voice calling out for help. After a few solo floors, we run into the rest of Boy Team, and they ask us if we've been hearing a voice too. Then the mysterious voice says, "Oh, hey, sorry, that was me." And then out from behind a pillar walks my girlfriend, Fuki Yamagishi.
I
Oh,
love
Fuka.
Fuka.
I love her so much.
I feel like she doesn't get a ton in this section. She does get some cool stuff, but I just love her so much. She's so
I'm
great.
holding my tongue until my mom's.
Yeah, and the first time through, I only completed I completed Yuko's social link, and so she was girlfriend that wouldn't get mad that I dated other people first, and then the other two girlfriends that I had were Fuka and Aigis. Spoilers for Aigis rules, but yeah, I love Fuka so much. She's relieved that we found her, and we're like, well, we're glad that the monsters didn't get you. And she goes, I thought that there might be monsters here. Good thing that I avoided them, because I can just kind of tell that there was some shit going on, and I stayed away. Because she has the same power that Mitsuru does, but even stronger. Mitsuru has to jack her persona into Batcave equipment on her motorcycle to even reach inside of Tartarus. And by the end of the second stratum, she was losing us. We couldn't talk to Mitsuru on like the top 3 floors of the second stratum. But Fuka hasn't even fully summoned her persona before, and she can already sense and avoid the shadows. So she kind of rules. We're glad that we have that we succeeded, so we gather Fuka and we head back down to the entryway. Along the way, we see that the full moon is bright outside of the window, and the characters start to put together that the dorm fight and the monorail fight were both on the full moon, and that the full moon must be doing something to strengthen the shadows, so we should be careful because we accomplished our goal, but we haven't had a boss fight yet. Akihiko calls down to Mitsuru to tell her to be careful, but he can't get a hold of her. Fuka is like, wait, what the fuck? This shadow is bigger than all of the others, and it looks like it's attacking someone, so we gotta get out of here pronto on delay. We get down to the entryway, and Mitsuru and Yukari are getting their ass kicked by 2 huge shadows that are definitely dating. Girl team says that their attacks don't seem to be working on these shadows, so boy team calls their attention to start a fight. But then Natsuki comes into Tartarus. She had heard the voice too, and she made her way to school. She's mumbling, "I had to tell her, I'm sorry." And Fuka runs over, is like, "You idiot, run away, it's dangerous." But it's too late. The huge shadows are closing in on them, so Fuka takes the evoker that Akihiko had given to her earlier that I didn't mention. She holds it to her temple, and she pulls the trigger. Just as the shadows attack, Fuka's persona springs out and encases Fuka and Natsuki in a protective bubble, and the ricochet blasts the shadows back across the room. It's
The
badass.
scene rules.
It's so fucking good. I have so much to say about it.
There's we get a little hint of it at this point, but yeah, Fuka rules.
Fuka is so good. Fuka opens her eyes and they're now like glowing with persona power. She can see through the defenses of the shadows, so she's a perfect navigator. Akihiko tells Mitsuru to hang back and let Guy Team and Fuka show her how it's done. When we get in battle, Fuka has a more active role than Mitsuru did. She can scan the enemies and tell us their full set of weaknesses, so we don't have to waste like 10 turns trying everything just to be able to try and find the weakness, which is good because the Emperor and Empress shadows can paradigm shift between Commando, Ravager, and Synergist and change their defenses constantly. So with Fuka's help, we can figure out their defenses and take the bosses down. Satisfied with the job well done, Fuka then collapses from exhaustion. Akihiko asks Mitsuru what happened, and she says that the shadows came from outside of Tartarus, just like the last two, and it sought them out specifically, which is why they then came into Tartarus. Yukari asks what they'll do about Natsuki since she now knows about Tartarus in the Dark Hour, but because she's not a Persona user, she won't remember anything that happens, even though she's outside of a coffin tonight. And thankfully, she was able to leave the dorm, walk the bridge to Rocco Island, walk through Polonia Mall, cross the bridge to Tatsumi Port Almond, walk to Gekukan High School, and enter Tartarus without ever being attacked by a shadow. So she won't be
Tatsumi Port Almond.
Probably.
Named after you.
Yeah, and so she won't be afflicted with apathy syndrome, which really sucks to be the guy in the intro who just like looked up from his phone to get attacked. Yeah, he must have been really unlucky.
Well, they have said it. They haven't been seeing almost any shadows outside of Tartarus lately. So maybe with such these two bosses, it's just there aren't any out there right now.
Maybe so. Yukar is like, oh, but if she doesn't remember the Dark Hour, then she won't remember that Fuka saved her. But Mitsuru thinks that it'll all work out because the power of love. But for now, we should return to the dorm.
And like Natsuki was already like feeling extremely bad about what had happened.
Yeah.
Like before.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it works out.
We'll see.
But for now, we should listen to some 3-load music and then talk about our plethora of memorable moments.
Okay, before I do my twist reveal, I have to just say, Sam, you described Fuka as your girlfriend? No, I'm sorry. I mean, you can claim that if you'd like. I'm not gonna dispute you too heavily, but no. That's Natsuki's girlfriend.
Yes, it's Ollie, baby.
Holy shit! The chemistry, the cutscene. It's beautiful. The sapphic. It was Pride Month while I played it, and the sapphic energy radiated on my computer screen. And if you're listening to this, dear listener, I can hear you already. If you're thinking, well, she just bullied this girl so hard. She and her friends bullied Fuka so hard that they were worried she was going to commit suicide. Isn't shipping them like problematic or toxic or any of those things? And I'm putting a finger to your lips and I'm going, shh. No.
Enemies to lovers. It's a thing for a reason.
Listen, bullying sapphic love is truly one of the greatest linchpins of the entire queer community. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. The dynamics are incredible and crisp every time. Again, I was talking about finishing Gideon the Ninth again today. Gestures at that. I love it so much, and I have at least slightly spoiled myself on where this goes canonically, and I've also made myself very aware of where the fans have taken it, because we ain't the only ones who see in this and thinking these two are kissing later.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it so much.
It's a slight spoiler that things do work out, and Natsuki and Fuka end up being very good friends.
They're gal pals!
Yeah.
And honestly, their relationship in this game is beautiful, and I love it. It's so good, and yes, they deserve to be shipped.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have a plethora, and I've been talking for an hour. So, Trish, what else
Okay.
you got?
Okay, here's my big. Actually, wait. Before that, I will also just really quickly say I really love the stuff with Maya. I'm also as spoiled about the stuff with Maya. I know where that goes. I'm not going to say on air, but I will say I've read a wonderful crossover with Persona 5 fan comic that is currently going involving Maya. That's so gay, and I love it. But the big thing I've been saving this episode is I was loving playing Persona 3 Reload so much that when I caught up to where we just finished recapping, I didn't have enough. But unlike Bernard, who took that opportunity to just keep plowing through the game like a steamroller, no. I went back and I got Persona 3 Portable and modded it and have been playing it, and I have played it up all the way through to the same point that we stopped here, but now with only needing a mod for some sapphic stuff later with romances and stuff. Well, some other things too. But, actually with Katone, the girl protagonist, who... Here are my thoughts on Portable. I know it's not what we're technically covering, but I'm going to cover it because it's what we were robbed because Atlas are cowards.
Yeah.
Katone's fucking great. Not only is her design obviously wonderful, I think she's
Her design
one
is
of the
so
best.
good.
It's one of the best designs in the game, if I'm going to be honest, I would say. But also, just her personality is so sparkling. Like, she has such a distinct, different personality from the main protagonist, which I think we talked about last time. But I love that. I love having them be very distinctly two different characters in the same situation. Like, that's good. I like it. Even if it makes incorporating it more expensive, and thus they didn't do it. I really like her. I have only dipped. I've dipped fairly far, but the social links that she has access to in the portable version that aren't anywhere in Reload, because that's how the game works. Instead of the dude in the track team, you can join the archery team or the volleyball team. Not archery. No, it's not archery. It's volleyball or.
I thought it was tennis and archery.
Oh, it's tennis. Right, it's tennis or archery. My brain was. I went with archer. I went with with tennis. And Rio is the girl who is this like childhood friend of Kenji's. Her whole thing is at first she's annoyed at all the other people on the girl sports team, who all the other girls are just obsessed with romance, and they basically just leave you and her to handle sports activities and practice yourselves, which is kind of exacerbated by the fact that she's very hostile towards them for how romance obsessed they are. But then it turns out she's in love with Kenji, which. Girl, you're really pretty. You can do better. You can really do better.
Absolutely can do better.
With Kenji?
Yes. They're childhood friends, and she's in love with him. And then she finds out that he's in love with the teacher, and she seems to think that they're like dating or something. So she's really distraught and upset, and that's where I left off with that. And then there is Saori, who's the hermit. Instead of Maya, you can't. God, do I wish I would love to see the way that Katone handles the Maya social link over our more laconical boy main character. But instead we have Saori, who's actually very good in her own right, but very different and distinct. Saori is a girl who's like 2 years older than you, so she's basically the oldest student in the school. Because she took several years off for reasons that where I am have not been actually revealed yet. And she is working. You get to talk to her through joining another club. I can't remember I've joined her through like the library activities club or something like that. I don't remember what the other option was. But her whole thing is about like she's in this weird social place because she took years off, and so she's a junior officially, like your character is, but she's also older than everyone else, so everyone's very respectful and kind of distant, and also like she's just in this weird place of no one actually treating her as a peer or treating her in ways that are okay, and she's just kind of a doormat who takes what anyone does to her because she's just desperate for any kind of social attention. And she's really sweet, and I love her, and I'm really sad for her. And I'm excited to see where her social link goes. Otherwise, I have to say about Persona Portable, holy shit, the quality of life features from the old games to the Reload is... There's so many I could not list them all if I even wanted to.
Yeah.
I'll say the biggest one is, while I do enjoy the more like visual novel style of the portable version, which obviously is just a way of saving on the stuff that are harder to do on the PSP. Um, I will also say that the getting around from place to place is a absolute nightmare, and I love in Reload that's just like, I'm gonna go map. Okay, I'm gonna take me to the town map. Cool. I'll go here. I'll go just teleporting around. Wonderful. So much faster. So much more convenient. And also, oh my god, is the voice acting so much better in Reload. The voice acting is so much better. Leaving aside the sex pest, I would say so far the only like good voice actors I've heard in Portable, or not, sorry, not good voice actors, the performances, the good performances. Michelle Ruff as Yukari is actually really good, and I think people who denigrate her performance, I don't know what you're talking about. She sounds probably the best in the cast. The only one who's like also I'd say pretty good, Liam O'Brien is a pretty good Akihiko. Um, and I apologize to Tara Platt, but the new voice actress for Mitsuru, Allegra Clark, I think her performance is just 10 times better. Like, it's just Tara Platt's Mitsuru was just much more subdued and like sounded more like an ordinary teenage girl, which I think has a place, but it just didn't. Just comparing them, having played one, playing the other, I like the new one so much more. It's much more of like a memorable feeling character immediately just from the way she voice acts.
I haven't played Portable, but in Fess, I feel like Mitsuru is the best voice actress in Fess. So,
my brain. I keep seeing and hearing the term Fess. I don't know what Fess is.
Persona 3 Fess is the upgraded PS2 version of Persona 3. So there's Persona 3. Then they made Persona 3 Fest, which is the same game, but with some extra stuff and, crucially, an extra campaign at the end that's shorter and different and is like a sequel to the main story.
So it's like the kind of golden or royal version for 4 and 5. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, but then they came out with Portable, which had other more different extra stuff. And so Persona 3 has never really had a true Royal Game of the Year edition, and it still doesn't, which is kind of annoying.
Like, I love Persona 3 Reload so much, but it is annoying that there still is not actually a definitive edition, since it doesn't have the female protagonist. Which just means it can't be the definitive version.
Yeah, I'm hoping that modding for this game takes off a lot and people mod it in, because as of right now, they basically, like, the girl mod replaces the model and rewrites some of the text, and then there are voice changer mods for Persona 4 Golden, where they like put in the original what's her face? I can't remember it off the top of my head, but put in the original voice actress for all of the scenes where they can. And so there probably is some combination of take things from Fess and from Portable and mod in new stuff and put in. Like, I feel it could be possible to mod it, but it sucks that it has to be modded.
Yeah.
I
hope it does get better.
I do want to say about the voice acting. I agree. I mean, I think the voice acting in the original voice acting is great, but I love the new voice acting so much as well. Like, I love Junpei's voice acting. He'll like do these weird mouth sounds during his lines. Like, he'll be like, "Okay, brr, let's get going" or something. He'll do things like that.
Everyone's so animated.
And Mitsuru, when you talk to her, she'll usually just like sit. When you talk to her in a scene where she's just going to have one of those like bark lines that plays where it's not fully voiced, she'll usually just be like "salut," but then she'll occasionally be like "salut," or she'll say "salut" a whole bunch of different ways, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I hated in Fess when the game didn't have anything important for you to do. They're like, go out and study and do a social link today. It's free day. You go whatever you want. And so you get back to the dorm and there's not a scene that plays and it's just Junpei going, sup, dude? And the sex pest sup dude is the same one every single one of those nights, but they're all different in this one and they're good. And I love this Junpei so much more.
All the voice acting is so good. It is amazing that they recast, as far as I know, basically everyone but Elizabeth. And yet there wasn't anyone where I'm like, I like the old voice acting better. I like everyone. I'm like, this is as good, if not better, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know because of both real life reasons and Persona 5 spoiler reasons, we couldn't have the same Igor, but I wanted him anyways. Not that I don't like this one. I think this one does a great job, but I love both of the previous
Persona 5,
Igors.
Persona 5 Igor is really good. I would actually say also, I didn't mention it, but Persona 3 Portable, at least Igor, is also quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him pretty good. It's just like he doesn't have that many lines.
Yeah.
Though unfortunately, who does have some lines. I don't want to be overly negative, and I'm not gonna. I feel bad talking about someone not being. I don't feel like I'm doing a very good performance, but I think Fuka's original voice actress wasn't very good. And her Reload voice actress is great. I love her so much.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about Fuka's original voice actress. There's a reason why so I've mentioned before that my all my ticket sounds for work are Persona 3 barks, and they're all from Mitsuru. I didn't pick any from Fuka, and that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's some. Are we done talking about voice acting? Because there's something I really want to talk about.
Please
go for it.
Tell me.
So this is sort of taken from Persona 5, but characters text you now, which wasn't a thing in the original. And except like now you're on a flip phone, and a lot of it is very they go out of their way to make it 2009. What I love is that everyone has a distinct way of texting, and a lot of it is really funny. Like Miyamoto, when he'll like text you at the start when you start the social link, and the subject is "It's Miyamoto" in all caps, and then after you get to the second stage of the social link, you'll get a text from him that says "It's Miyamoto." Then after the third "It's Miyamoto." "It's Miyamoto," and it's so funny. And also, for the old couple, like you always get the text from Bunkichi, the guy, but sometimes the woman Mitsuko will text from his phone, and one of the texts she sends is, "I learned how to do capital letters. Are you getting these? Anyways, come visit us at the shop," with no punctuation, but with capital letters. And
they're
also
so good.
This is a bit of a spoiler. Eventually, you start getting more text from your teammates and stuff, and Mitsuru starts texting you at one point, and she always texts very formally, but at one point she's like, "I'm going to try using emoji," and she sends you a text with a few emoji in it, and she's so bad at it, and then at the end she's like, "I'm still not used to this using emoji," and it made me laugh so hard. She's like, "It's quite cold now, sun emoji. Take care you don't get sick, syringe emoji." I'm like, "You're so bad at this."
Oh, it's so good.
And there's so much character in these texts, and it's amazing. I love it so much.
I love it, and it's so much more convenient than just like poking around like, okay, who can I talk to today? Or even just be able to teleport directly to them.
And also I like how when someone texts you, you can click on it and view your social link status, view if you have the persona that matches their arcana, view if you're going to level up without having to talk to them. Because if you talk to them and it's like, you're not going to level up yet, then I might want to back out. But then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I guess you're busy," and that'll make me sad.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Also, you don't just get text from your social links. You also get them from businesses telling you about sales and stuff, or about places you can work, which is really useful to me because I've been grinding out my stats a lot, and one of the best ways is, I mean, I say one of the best ways. I'm not using a guide. I'm just fucking around. But the working at the cafe.
Yeah,
and so it's just Yeah, no, just be like, oh, boop, let me just teleport directly from my room in the dorm to the cafe, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm there. I can immediately do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how when I played Persona 3, I then heard about all of the quality of life things in Persona 3 Portable, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing. And then all of the things they added in 4 and 5, and now in this one, and it's just basically a different game. Like the original has a how long to beat of like 80 hours, and this one has one of like 43 hours. And I guarantee you, all of that is just walking from the school to the front of the thing, to go to the world map, to click on Polonia, to walk over to the cafe, to work in the cafe, to walk back to the dorm at night, etc., etc.
Wait, that's how the original worked?
Yeah, you couldn't press a button to leave the school immediately. I
My
think there was a student you could talk to in your classroom that could take you to the world map quicker, but I think that was it. I don't think you could fast travel literally at all.
That sounds
I don't remember how it worked on the PS2.
I'm the kind of person that defends like sailing and Wind Waker and stuff like that as like the value of distance and having time with your own thoughts in a video game, but that sounds like bullshit and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I do think being able to actually explore the areas in Persona 3 Reload and Persona 3 Fest is a huge thing that Persona 3 Portable unfortunately lacks.
Yeah, I would agree to some extent.
Having the option to not do that when you don't want to do that, and I've already explored the school and talked to everyone, and no one has new dialogue yet, and I just want to get to the dorm, is nice.
Yeah.
So good. So I have a plethora of wonderful text boxes that I screenshot.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So the first one is not technically the text box that's great, but one of the games that you can play in public at the arcade is Tokimeki Memorial.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. It's called
is what?
It's called High School of Youth, but the girl on the screen just straight up is Shiori Fujisaki.
Yeah, it's just Tokimeki Memorial. It's fantastic. I tried to translate the Japanese that's on it because it's probably a joke, but there are a couple kanji that are literally just completely white squares, so I couldn't figure it out. But the best part about it is when you're playing it, the machine that you're playing on just says, "Let's enjoy playing. Very interesting game. Very interesting game."
Can you please explain what Tokimeki Memorial is?
Have I got a YouTube video for you?
Yeah.
Send it to me!
Yeah, like literally specifically, I think you would absolutely love that YouTube video. This is right up your alley.
Tokimeki Memorial is a insanely deep and interesting and dense dating simulator video game that has never been translated except one sort of weird version of it got a fan translation, but the actual full version has never been translated at all. But Sam and I know it because Tim Rogers did a video essay on it, and it is so interesting and cool, and it's like one of my favorite games, even though I can't play it.
Yeah,
because I don't know Japanese. But I will put a link to the video in host chat because it's the video is 6 hours long, but you don't have to watch it all at once.
Yeah. And it's 6 hours long because he did his he basically is talking you through the game because he knows that you can't play it. He talks through basically a let's play of his blind playthrough, the playthrough where he tried really hard, and then the playthrough where he looked up a guide on how to play it perfectly, and the differences in all three playthroughs. So a good 4 hours in the middle is just summarizing the entire game. So,
and it sort of feels like you got to actually play it.
Yeah, it's very, very good. But yeah,
it's so interesting.
How did you know that I love putting on long video essays while I cook or do dishes?
Yeah. So the cool thing about Tokimeki Memorial is it's super duper huge and complicated because it is a AAA game by Konami when they were at the top of their game in the 90s, and so it has a lot of money and care and Hideo Kojima in it, and being approximately the same age as me and being an internet weirdo, you probably played a lot of the dating sims on like Newgrounds and stuff, the Flash
I don't
dating
know what you're
games.
talking about. You can't prove anything.
But all of those are 100% aping Tokimeki Memorial, like that style where you have to like choose who you're going on dates with, plan things out, things like that, like the very involved day-to-day dating sim. Those all come from Tokimeki Memorial. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, love that it was in this game.
Also, I've put in the host chat a picture of High School of Youth from Persona 3 Reload next to Shiori Fujisaki from Tokimeki Memorial, so you can see
Yeah.
that they're pretty much the same person.
Yes. Another bit that I loved is the principal completely just Melania Trump Mitsuru's speech, because a lot of people like Mitsuru's speech and he didn't want to be shown up, so he just gives Mitsuru's speech again like a week later, and I just think that's such a funny, stupid thing to be a part of this game.
It's really funny.
Another one that I liked is right before Golden Week. Junpei is like, well, at this rate, I'm going to spend Golden Week the same way that I always have, lazing around, hanging out with dudes. I mean, not that I don't love your company, my dude, but and I just loved it's the same way that I always have, just hanging out with dudes. It's like, yeah, I think you do protest too much about all the girls, Junpei. What did I do this one?
I don't know.
It's something from Maya, but I don't remember why I particularly screenshot it. But just in general,
I don't
Maya's
think we.
fantastic.
She's great. I don't think we said this specifically earlier, but I specifically love that they. God, I said specifically too much. They have her. I don't know if they did this in the original game. And I'm playing the girl, so I have no clue in Portable. But her dialogue is in very early to like mid 2000s online chat speak, and it's just a hilarious blast from the past. And I know someone who, before I even started playing this, was talking to me about it and was saying that she knew people who were a lot younger, like teenagers, young adults of today, who when they got to this were like, oh, this is just silly, and this doesn't actually, like, no one ever talked like this. And it has to be like, no,
Nope.
no, we did.
We
We
did.
did.
We thought it was cool.
I saw a screenshot where Maya said where Maya says, "I really like how you have good spelling and punctuation online. That's so leet, Tatsuya."
At one point she says, "Have you ever said LOL IRL on accident? I think I would die ROFL." And I'm like, I literally say LOL once a day. Related to this being how we all just were back then, this, you can run into a character. I didn't screenshot it, so I don't know who it is or in what context, but they're like, yeah, my life is going to be different. It's 2009 or 2010 or something, I forget, which is hilarious because no one remembers exactly when Persona 3 is supposed to take place, because when it came out and it's taking place are in different times, and it's just very funny that it's like, oh, it was 2009 or 2010 or something like that, which I just think is great.
That's good.
I also one of the games that you can play is Typing Ghoul, aka Typing of the Dead, and the when you're playing it, it's like the zombies are very kindly explaining the rules to me. I don't feel like they're my enemy. I decimated the zombies that provided me with a helpful tutorial. Being able to put these nice zombies down made me brave and courageous or something. I didn't clip the whole bit, but
That's
so good.
very funny.
There is so much good writing in this game.
Yeah.
There is. I'm really truly loving this game, and I think it's wild going from having previously like lightly touched Portable basically a decade ago or so, and now going through it and this version and just being like, oh, I'm in love with this game a little bit. Like it's just fun. It's fun and funny, and I am definitely already getting a sense like, oh, okay, so this is gonna be delving into some interesting thematic shit. Okay, I'm here for this.
Mhm.
Oh, there's gonna be dark shit. Don't you worry about
Mhm.
that.
Like we haven't even met the main bad guys yet. Like we haven't even started really, and it keeps going
Well,
and it doesn't stop, and I love it.
I don't mean necessarily like dark shit because like obviously you summon your persona by putting a gun to your head, but the like I feel like it's saying something with it. Like
Yeah.
it's not just using
Yeah.
the darkness to like for the sake of shock values / being cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one thing that has really struck me as I play almost all the way through this game over 2 weeks, which the last time I played Persona 3 was when I played Fess, like 13, 14, 15 years ago.
Mhm.
But what really struck me is how thematically deep and really interesting and really just fantastic it is, and like so much of it just is not on accident and is
Mhm.
very intentional and very good. And
Very,
I'm
very
trying to, and I'm just saying weird random stuff sort of because I don't want to actually say anything specific because I don't want to spoils.
Mhm.
I appreciate that, and I am truly very excited to see what this game has in store for me.
Yeah. And to
Week
play
by
it
week,
twice at the same time.
and play it twice. Listen,
Oh.
listen. There are a couple things I spoil myself, but it's silly. I'm gay, and I found out. Oh yeah, no. Portable has some gay. Flat out, you can be gay.
Mhm.
You can date a robot girl. A robot girl I've been hearing about from the internet for since this game came out. Basically, I think I have seen people talking about her online.
I mean, in our Discord, our bot is named after her. So
Yeah,
yeah, you couldn't really
the
get
fact-
away from it.
she is. Considering for us, let's see the portable version, she is a full-on. You can romance her as a legitimate romantic interest, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is the only time that's a case so far in the entire Persona franchise.
That you can date a robot?
No, that you can you can be gay. That you can be gay.
Can't you sort of be gay in Persona 2 1?
Okay, listen.
Sort of. It doesn't count.
I mean I'm talking about there are multiple paths of romance interests in this game. That is a thing in the game. It's a mechanic of the social links.
Yes.
And they have one that is a romance path of the same gender as your character, where it is remarked upon that this is a person of the same gender.
So, spoilers, and I will try to not go super into it because this is a topic of which I've been banned of talking about. But in Persona 4, your the Junpei of that game has audio on disc that isn't used. That definitely implies that his social link was supposed to end in a romance, which would make it cool because he's the main cause of the homophobia in the game, and so that would be a cool thing. But they definitely pivoted away from saying anything of merit in Persona 4, and so that doesn't happen.
And
But,
also, if he were the gay option, I would be like, him?
yeah, like it would be cool character development, but I wouldn't want it. I would turn him down.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy. I mean, I love him, but also he fucking sucks. He's the biggest loser in the series.
Yeah.
Damn. Shots are being fired. And they're being fired at a person I've never met.
Yosuke is just he's just the biggest
My only
loser
knowledge
ever.
of Yosuke comes from the two best friends play of Persona 4. Or rather the parody My Little Pony version of that called Two Sisters Play.
What's hilarious about Yosuke is that they made that dancing spinoff, and he's the best dancer. And I think that's just so hilarious that he's such a loser, but they did make him the best dancer in the dancing spinoff, and I think that's beautiful. Good for him. He deserves to have a win.
Mhm.
Just one as a treat.
But since both of y'all are overachieving for Persona, maybe I should overachieve and play Persona Q. Because I don't think I have it in me to play Royal and Reload at the same time while writing notes for Reload.
Oh
But-
God.
I did
But-
find out, I was digging about stuff, and I found out, I don't know if it's Q or the second Q, but in one of those, there's like a whole thing about how, because the girl protagonist from 3 is in there, but she's not, but she's from a universe AU to every other Persona 3 character. Like, they're all from the main game, and she's from Portable.
Yeah.
And so they all have no clue who she is, but she knows all of them. And I'm like, that's so fucked up and tragic.
Yeah.
She is in Persona Q2. I've only played the first Persona Q, which is the crossover of 3 and 4. Persona Q2 adds in 5 and Girl.
Mhm.
And excuse me, her name's Katone.
Her name is Totino's
but yeah, I haven't played Q2. But
Her name is Wendy's. No, I can't. I can think like another mascot, like business name that's girly.
Or there's probably more frozen pizzas that we could use.
I honestly, I did the
Red-
other day
She's
try to
Red
think
Baron.
of a good name
She's
for
Red Baron.
She's the
Red Baron Tombstone. I couldn't think of something good for her. I tried to think of a funny name,
Red
but
Baron
I
is
think
good. Tombstone is trashed. The worst frozen pizza. Don't sully her. Don't sully her with that
I
name.
like Tombstone.
Tombstone. Okay, I don't. Red Baron is the best frozen pizza brand.
I don't like Red Baron. It's too sweet.
I'll shake my head at you.
But yeah, I tried to think of a funny name for her, but I think Totino's DiGiorno was my one lightning strike of brilliance, and I don't think I'll ever name something that well again.
She can just be Totina.
Totina's DiGiorno.
It's just horrible.
It sounds so bad.
Anywho,
It was like typing on the Wendy's thing, and I was like, "What's another burger place from California?" So of course my brain went to Wendy's. Wendy's In and Out.
it's 1 a.m. So that'll do it for the week. If you like what you heard, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club and toss us some cash to help us cover the costs of running the show. If you sign up for a monthly contribution, you'll also get some extra benefits. $1 a month, and you'll get on the Gadabout tier and get access to our bonus feed, where this week we continue our playthrough of Tales of Eternia, and we're getting close to the end, but not quite there yet. I think we have a couple episodes left in us. I want it to be over, not because it's bad, but because I want to play Star Ocean. Star Ocean 2 looks really, really good, the remake of that one. And we're close. You'll also get access to our polls to help us choose the games that we play next. We're tearing through this game, even those of us who aren't Bernard. We did, compared to the first time we played this game in the other series, we are 3 episodes of that one in after only 2, so we'll probably be pretty quick as we go through it. So we'll be coming up on a poll really, really soon, and I'm excited for the next poll that we have. $5 a month gets you to the Warrior tier, where you'll get all of that stuff that I rambled through before, but we'll also say your name at the end of every episode. Shoutouts to Cerebral Wind, It's Claire Time, Frosthair, Dragon Slayer 19, Floris, Kaldron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then at $20, you get to be a luminary, and you get to shout out something each week. So shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimke, who wants you to play Legend of Legaia, a game that they love so much that they've been paying someone to help alter character models that they can that they've ripped using DuckStation to make themselves a cosplay of some of the characters. So if somebody likes it that much, you will probably think it's a little okay. B minus. Shoutouts to Carr, who is a dentist, so he's not plugging a website, but rather your own mouth, and he says to brush your teeth twice a day. Most importantly, the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam.
I'm Bernard, and I think Wendy's Jollibee would be a beautiful name for a girl Persona protagonist.
My name is Trish, and I have never heard of the second restaurant in my life. Goodbye, everybody.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.
I've never been to a Jollibee because the closest one is in San Antonio, but I like the name.
Wendy's Jollibee is pretty great.
Jollibee is a Filipino restaurant that is apparently really fucking good, but they don't have any near me.